Welcome to Getting Creative, a spotlight on people who are making the absolute most of their lives here in Iowa's creative corridor. The folks you're going to meet here are taking full advantage of the employment, the recreational, and the artistic opportunities that make Iowa's creative corridor one of the best places anywhere to live. I'm Dennis Green, and I know what I'm talking about. For 3 decades, I've made a career as a media personality, a performer, and even a novelist, all right here in Iowa's creative corridor. My guest today is one of those rare people who really only need to be referred to by one name. Like Miley, like Gaga, like Madonna, when you say the name Alisabeth in the creative corridor, everybody knows who you're talking about. She grew up in Marion, winning her first talent contest at the age of 9. 10 years later, she stood before the judges on American Idol as they punched her golden ticket to Hollywood. She also appeared on The Voice in the summer of 2015. But unlike many performers who take whatever day job they can to fund their performing career, she's also an entrepreneur, running her own photography studio here in Cedar Rapids Czech Village. On stage, she starred in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, The Wedding Singer, and The Follies, as well as headlining her own Cabaret in the Courtyard show at Cedar Rapids Brucemore Estate. Her first CD has just been released. It's called My Foolish Heart. Say hi to Alisabeth von Presley. Elizabeth, thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely.
Well, let's start at the beginning. When did you first know that you wanted to be a performer and that was going to be your career in your life?
I knew right away. Yep, a little girl. There's videos of me as a 2-year-old plunking away on the piano, making up words, making up songs. My family's very musical. I guess I've always known that I wanted to be a performer in some aspect, whether it be singing, dancing, writing music. It's just something I was born with. My family's very musical. You didn't have a choice but to learn the piano because everyone played it. And singing, we all sang in 6 or 7 part harmony at Christmas. It was just something that was ingrained in me at a young age, and I absolutely loved it. And I decided it was something I wanted to try to do for a career. It just felt right. It felt good.
Tell me about the experience of being on American Idol and The Voice. That had to just be totally surreal.
It absolutely was, Dennis. Walking onto the stage that you have just seen from your living room couch on a TV for so many years, and being there and being on it, you just have to take a moment and look around and be like, this is really what I'm doing. And then seeing the judges in real life and then having to perform was like, oh my gosh, it was just crazy. It was overwhelming, but a wonderful experience. I learned a lot about, show business and a lot about me as a performer, and it was a fabulous experience.
When I say American Idol, what is the first image that comes to your mind?
Ryan Seacrest, which, by the way, he's extremely tall and he's wearing a lot of makeup. Yeah. Anyway, I remember walking. I got my golden ticket. I got to run down the hallway, and there he was, and I was just so surprised. I was overwhelmed that I got a golden ticket, but more overwhelmed that Ryan Seacrest was standing right in front of me.
Did he say anything to you, or did you
yeah,
just run past him?
he gave me a hug, and he was like, "Congratulations, congratulations, Elizabeth." And he knew all these things about me, and it was really surreal, incredibly crazy. Yeah.
So, what are your favorite roles that you've performed? There have been so many, but are there 1 or 2 that stick out?
Favorite roles I've performed would be definitely being in the Follies, being able to play 5 different roles within 1 2-hour show. And the Paramount is stunning. Having the opportunity to perform on that stage locally is such a blessing. I believe my favorite role I've ever played was the leading player in Pippin, which I just played this last summer with Revival Theater Company.
And you were fabulous.
Thank you, thank you. Getting to play a dark, mysterious creature that everyone loves at the beginning, and then it kind of changes halfway through, and I also choreographed the show. So it was really great getting to use my dance and performance and singing and acting all at the same time. It was awesome.
How'd you get started in photography?
Someone handed me a camera and said, go. I was second shooting a wedding, and the clients actually ordered more of my photos than they did of the professional photographer.
Really?
It was the first time I'd ever held a camera either. And ever since then, so I've always thought people were beautiful, and I've always tried to express that verbally to people, and sometimes they just don't understand. And so I thought, why not pick up the thing that can make them see themselves how I see them? So I initially got into photography so that I could show people how I saw them and to make them feel beautiful. And so that's what started it all. I started doing photography for free for, a couple years, just for people that I was like, can I take your picture? I just walk around the streets of New York and photograph people I thought were interesting, just give them a business card and give them the photo for free. And so it's always meant something to me. The main reason I take photos is for the person to see how beautiful they are at the end, I guess.
But of course, when you opened up your own studio, it became not just art, but also commerce.
Yes.
And you probably also had to learn running a small business from the ground up, too.
Absolutely. If there's something I'll admit I'm not too great at, is the business elements of running a business. The logic mind, I had to learn that, and I had to learn it quick. I needed a bigger space, and I came in here, and along with that came all the different challenges of running a business. But locally, it's fantastic. There's a huge support team here for people. There are a lot of photographers, videographers in town, but everyone kind of offers their own unique vision towards things. And so I think it really helped me that I had such a set way I like to shoot people that it made a little niche for me. And being in the Czech Village has been wonderful. And I got to have a space that really expresses me, so people can walk in and they already know, what they're going to get.
And you also are paying it forward, because I know that a lot of the assistants and new photographers you work with and hire, they're starting from about the same place that you did.
Exactly. Yep. I love taking in new photographers that, just from Instagram I can tell, or just from seeing their work posted on Facebook, that they have a vision, they have an eye, they're telling a story. And I'll contact them. I'll be like, hey, do you want to come be an intern at the studio? Paid internship, come on down for a summer. So we had 4 of them this summer, and I just kind of take them under my wing and teach them everything I know. It's never a competition. It's here's what I've learned, and if this in any way helps you learn it faster, especially the business elements of things. Yeah, I love teaching.
Most of the young performers who call Cedar Rapids and Iowa City and the Courtyard and Iowa home end up going elsewhere to make their fortune. You've kind of decided to work here, so tell me what has kept you here in the creative corridor to make your art and be a business person. And
I love the vibe of Cedar Rapids. That's very supportive. My family is here, a lot of my best friends are here, but there's a lot of opportunities for different types of art expression. So I can be a photographer by day, and then in the after school, I can go teach choreography or show choir at a local high school or local middle school. And then at night, I can perform in one of our open venues. We have so many venues that are like, absolutely come in and do your original music. Or come on in and try something out. You want to do an art piece, a performance piece, go for it. There's a lot of performance opportunities here for people. I think the main reason I'm here doing my art is because in other cities, there's more people there. It's harder to really make an impact there that would affect, hundreds of thousands of people. And I think it's awesome that we have such great venues that support local artists. And there are a lot of fantastic local artists. And I say, go out on a little tour or whatever, kind of figure out your sound. But then calling this place home is definitely the best decision I made. And also it's cheaper to live here, Dennis. It's so much
that it
cheaper.
is.
Yeah.
Your studio is in one of Cedar Rapids' most historic districts, Czech Village, right on the corner of 16th Avenue and C Street. For people who've been in the neighborhood for a while, they may remember it as a tattoo parlor, but it started out as a bank, right?
It did. Back in 1912, it was a bank. We have the original bank vault. We transformed that small, claustrophobic space into a pink, cheerful hair and makeup room for all our guests to enjoy.
And you have really decorated it with a little bit of everything.
It was definitely a lot different when I came in.
So what was your kind of overriding theme as you were trying to put this space together?
The theme is just my creative space, a space I want to walk into, and I look at something and I'm like, ooh, that gives me an idea. I should, take a photo like this, or I should build a dress like this or something. I walked in, it was just a plain white space. The ceiling was gorgeous, though. It's the original tin ceiling, and that just inspired the blue walls, as I know that the orangey looks really good with teal. Also, us as Iowans have very red tones in our skin, and for photography, the opposite is going to be blue. So a little bounce light onto the red skin is nice. Also, my favorite color is hot pink, And I knew I couldn't paint the entire space hot pink, and some people advised me not to. So I thought blue would be, good, so I could have pink for an accent, of course.
What's the most surprising use that maybe a client or you have put the space to? There's so much eclectic stuff here. There's a big variety, but what was it you ended up doing one day that surprised even you?
We turned it into a live performance venue using all the photography lights and backdrops, which was really fun for a touring artist from Vietnam, which is pretty cool. We have an old TV over here, so we just shot CBS 2's new promo photos, and they thought, well, let's use the vintage TV, so that's exciting. All the stuff that's sitting around that I have collected from different antique shops always gets pulled into pictures, which is really fun. Gives a unique prop, not your standard photo studio props, something a little more crazy.
What's your most unusual prop?
The strangest item in the studio? Probably our mannequin that you see as you walk in. He used to be our open sign, holding the open up in the shape of a heart, but he fell. He took a bad fall last summer and cracked his head open, so now he lives inside in a tuxedo. And I put him in front of the window at night, and it just scares the crap out of people walking by. And people do double takes as they stop at the four-way stop. So that's fun.
What's your favorite thing in the studio?
Probably my hot pink guitar. Works well in photos, videos, and then when I'm waiting for photos to export, I can sit down and just canoodle a little bit on it.
Visit Alisabeth online at elisabethvonpresley.com, where you can find out where she's performing next or book a session here in this unique studio. Here in Iowa's Creative Corridor, we try to live more than the average life. Visit creativecorridor.co to meet more fascinating people like Alisabeth and share your own stories about getting creative.